Good morning and welcome to Coaching Live. I am Hope Borman. I'm the divisional president for Todd Duncan Coaching, and I have with me Wayne Angelo, one of our certified coaches, actually one of our core coaches and our master level coaches. So good morning, Mr. Wayne.
Good morning. Good morning.
How are you?
I am well. I had my 35th anniversary yesterday.
Oh, congratulations.
My wife and I had some snacks together last night, and that was a great day. And this weather here is spectacular. Today's always a rough day for me. I have my golf league and then my poker game, so it's one of my favorite days of the week.
Oh, fantastic. Well, congratulations on your wedding anniversary. That's wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. So before we get started, Wayne and I actually wanted to make sure that everybody knew. I mean, I love birthdays and I love celebrating birthdays, but this birthday is extra special because today is Todd Duncan's birthday. So Wayne and I wanted to be sure that we wish Todd a very, very happy birthday. We are so glad that you were born. And I know that I share this with thousands of people that feel the same way. So happy birthday, Todd.
Happy birthday, buddy.
Happy birthday. Okay, so let's get into this. Wayne, I know a lot of people already know you, and I know that your coaching members that you work with already know and respect you. But can you tell us a little bit about Wayne Angelo for a minute?
I've been in the mortgage business about 35 years.
Okay.
My focus is probably more on branch managing than it was back in the days when I was volume originator.
Uh-huh.
My numbers when I was really cranking out a couple of years ago, between 30 and 40 loans a month.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed that to have life balance.
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably do, I'm probably somewhere around 9 million year to date. For me, that's comfortable. I have a focus on life balance, which is really important to me. I'm a little older. I've been in the business a while.
Uh-huh.
Some of the blessings I have, Hope, are my branch. My assistant just retired after 17 years with me, and I hired her granddaughter. But you look at my team, they've been together with me almost a decade. I'm very blessed to have some really good people I work with. The culture in my branch is one that I enjoy coming to every day. I like what I do. I like the flexibility the mortgage business gives. It's a stressful business, but
Yeah.
it's okay. I'm blessed to have a great group of people that choose to work with me on a daily basis. I'm blessed by that.
That's fantastic. That's awesome. Wayne, I was talking to a client yesterday who's been in business for maybe not quite as long as you have, but for quite some time. And she was saying to me that, they're going through this process right now of saying no to certain clients and saying no to business. And she says, I promised myself a long time ago that I would never cherry pick, but here I am cherry picking. And I said, I think that after you've been in the business for 20 years and you've invested so much of yourself in building this business, I think we've earned the right to cherry pick and not work with the clients that are high maintenance, not work with the clients that are rate shoppers, not work with the clients that, that really truly don't appreciate the relationship and what we bring and the value that we bring. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, and it really plays out a really humbling experience this morning. A client that I dealt with many years ago, he asked us to sit down and do the math on looking at, recasting their mortgage and what to do. And and when they looked at me and said, Wayne, we trust you. I looked at him and said, that's the most humbling thing you could say to me.
Sure.
It's so cool that people come back and they send their friends, and it's just built about authentic discussions, heartfelt discussions.
Uh-huh.
I'm truly blessed. And it really comes back down to the core of life, which is trust.
Yes, absolutely. That's beautiful, Wayne. I trust you.
Thank you. I trust you too. I wouldn't be here.
I know, that's so true. So before we get started, Wayne has chose a topic that we really wanted to obviously talk about today. But I also, wanted to talk a little bit about, Wayne, you have a lot of coaching members. I coach directly myself as well. Mostly, both of you and I mostly coach master level coaching members. What would you say is the number one or number two key pain point right now with our coaching members?
The market's shifting a little bit. We're all aware of that. I mean, there's no inventory. So I got a text before my coaching call this morning. And he said, my goal right now is to get closer and more connected with the realtors that I have, and to expand my realtor circle of influence.
Right.
So I think as the market shifts and we I have to be a little more proactive. I think that understanding how to do that and the way to build your business. So this particular coaching member is doing about 15 loans a month, about 70% purchase. So I did the analytical, and so he's doing about 9 loans a month that are purchase loans. He's happy with that number. And we talked about, are you significantly working or staying in touch with the listing agent? Because you can go out and build new business and knock on doors the way we used to do it. But through the circle of cash flow, the people involved in the transaction is your best spot. So really focusing on the behaviors. I think the biggest challenge humans have and people inside our ecosystem have are great intentions, get distracted, get inconsistent, and don't do the things that they know they want to do, the things they know they should do to build their business and to keep the business that they have. Because Todd always said, don't forget, your client is somebody else's prospect.
Right.
So I think the biggest challenge for people today is staying consistent. That's where coaching steps in, to be honest, because we talk about behaviors, non-negotiables, absolute things they're going to do, and being held accountable to those things are why people need coached to make sure that they're doing what they want to do and not getting distracted by the way the business will easily distract. And you get up, you get started, the day's over, and you didn't do the things you planned to do.
Right.
And it's not because you don't want to. It's because you don't have focus.
Right. Wayne, that is spectacular. That is a gold mine. I mean, I think that is, if you do nothing else but stay focused, stay intentional, execute, right? That everything else will take care of itself. Would that be true?
Yes, it will. I mean, we talked about it, he goes, when I'm done, I call the listing agent when we're done. I'm like, how many times have you called him during the process? Have you introduced yourself out of the gate? When it's done, he said, I call him and say, hey, can we schedule a lunch? And I'm like, why don't you send him the 10 new golden rules of the customer experience, send him the book, add value. And I often go back in these coaching sessions to the high trust selling cycle, add value. Everything's an interview. It's very interesting when I'm talking to a coaching member and they're talking about their team and they're telling them what to do. I'm like, why don't you ask them, interview them, how they can improve, how they like this process. Almost everything in life comes back to a high trust interview. Yes,
it does. It does, which is our topic today that you chose for us, which is the, law of the dress rehearsal, practicing your lines elevates the level of your performance. And in today's business environment, where our coaching members, as you just said, Wayne, are, and everyone in this industry are now looking to go back to fundamentals, right? To build those referral partner relationships, to deepen those referral partner relationships. How would you say this law applies?
It really comes into a lot. I mean, when I'm on a coaching call with a member and I role play with them. And what if a realtor says, what products do you have? We want to answer the question. Or what's your interest rate? People go right to answering the question, to selling. Why they should use me, why I'm the best in the business, blah, 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 blah. I'm sorry to put it that way, but when somebody says, what products do you have? That leads me into a high trust interview question. Like we all have the same products. We all kind of go to the same well for our money. But in your real estate practice, what products do you need? What's your client database look like? What's your focus? What kind of homes do you focus on? And every question leads to a question to understand the core behind the true question. I love Todd's response. What are your rates? The rate discussion is paramount. We will certainly get to rates, but before we talk about rates, let's talk about the components that make up the mortgage strategy and what affects rates, blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry to say it that way, but people go out there and they're so quick to answer questions. And answering a question is selling. You're not answering it straightforward. You're generally answering it in a way which wants to elevate them as, I want to be your mortgage professional, versus help me understand you. And scripting is important, not like a telemarketer where you script and you read from a script itself. But scripting is being prepared to turn every discussion into a high trust interview. And if you can do that, you can learn about the people and what matters most to them and What's a successful transition look like to them, or transaction, excuse me?
Mm-hmm.
How do they build their real estate business to deliver the best client experience?
Right.
You can learn about them. And if you learn about them, then you can learn about how to work with them to deliver an experience. And sometimes learning about them is, I don't want to do business with them. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I've told the story before. I sat with one of the biggest realtors in my market. We're sitting down for lunch. We're in the conversation a few minutes. He said, I use Jane Doe at ABC Title and use the real names. He said, because every once in a while she hands me an envelope full of cash.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I'm not your guy. I'm
Yeah.
not, it's not me. It's not going to happen. We can have lunch, but there's no sense talking business anymore.
Right.
So
Exactly.
the interview helps you reveal, do you want to do business with these people?
Mm-hmm.
And if
Yeah.
you do want to do business, how do you do business with them
Yeah.
as their business partner?
Yeah.
And then how do you follow up with them with the client database? Because if you're not following your client database and you're not staying in touch with the people that have trusted you, you're not going to be in business down the road, because everything is becoming decentralized becoming centralized, and national companies.
Mm-hmm.
The most important component of what we do is delivering an amazing experience through phenomenal communication, and then remembering those people so they remember us.
Right, exactly. I absolutely agree. And we want to get a little bit more tactical. I mean, this is very high level. This conversation is very high level, but it is, really important. Everybody's saying, yeah, great. I'm in. I'm on. How do I go about doing that? Right? What exactly do I do? What exactly do I say? And before we go there, Jennifer Krause, who's one of our coaching members, had a question, and she said, which I thought was really great. She says, "How do you stay focused when you take a break for a vacation?" And one of the first things that I do with all of our coaching members, at least the coaching members that I coach directly, is my very first call is to tell them, my goal is for you to go on vacation and leave your laptop at home. And there's always a gasp and I can't do that, and that's impossible. And lo and behold, it does happen. It happens within the first 12 months of our working together. And, and it's very, 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 very feasible. So I guess staying focused is not staying focused, Jennifer, when you're on vacation, and to literally set your business up, make sure that you have the right support team to where you can go, leave your laptop at home, and really, truly enjoy your time with your family. I have a coaching member that I coach, and he had gone to Chicago just recently to visit with family that he visits once or twice a year. So we took his children and his wife and his family. And I asked him how the trip went. And he said, not well. He says, it went great, except for I worked the entire time.
Faith, I can tell a direct story on that. My team a few years ago bought my wife and I a 4-day extended visit at the Hotel Hershey Spa. Mm-hmm. Amazing. I mean, this place is gorgeous. Milton Hershey Hotel, gorgeous environment, spa. And I went into my voicemail and I said on my phone, I said, my wife and I are taking a disconnect 4 days. We will be unavailable. My assistant's name is Jack. Here's his phone number. If it's urgent, here's my mother's number. She knows how to reach us, but we're disconnecting and focusing on each other for a few days. And what was really interesting about, in hindsight, that experience was more people said to me, wow, we should do that. That was awesome. Thank you for that perspective, Wayne. And I actually had more people respect the fact that I disconnected and got away with what was my priority list, my wife is an absolute in my life. A realtor, they come and go, unfortunately. I mean, I have some great long-term relationships. Please don't take that wrong. But my wife is an absolute. So if we don't disconnect, then what are we focusing on? What's the most important things? When I retire in a few years, I'm going to still be with my wife, and she's forever for me. That was a commitment I made, and I made it so far. And so the most important component is to focus on the things that matter the most to you, the people. And, I love Todd's book. He said, remember, time blocking is not a to-do list. It's not focusing on your prioritize. It's prioritizing the things you want to do.
Right.
It's not scheduling your priorities, but prioritizing It's not prioritizing your schedule, but scheduling your priorities.
That's right.
And if you don't make a weekly call one week and you do it when you get back, nobody's going to be upset with that, because they're not expecting it from most mortgage people anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm lucky that I have a long-term team. You know,
Mm-hmm.
my assistant was with me 17 years. My assistant Jack and business partner, he's here, and I trust him. I trust I can go away. It doesn't mean I don't take 2 minutes and check in and say hi a couple times. You
Mm-hmm.
know, when we go to Hungary, because my wife's Hungarian, I don't have a computer over there. I on
Mm-hmm.
purpose don't have a
Yeah,
computer.
no, that's wonderful. I love
I'll,
that.
I'll call once in a while and say, how are
Yeah.
things going? Is there anything urgent? But if you don't disconnect, then life doesn't have the value that it should have, in my
No, it's
opinion.
very, very true. And I think that that should always be a goal, that along with cherry picking when you get to that place, right? So one of the biggest challenges are obviously our coaching members have, or anybody in the industry, is learning how to master overcoming objections. And the objections that we hear are really pretty consistent, and they're normally the same ones. But let's go through a few. Obviously in high trust selling, Todd teaches us that objections are not obstacles; they're opportunities to further advance a relationship and or a sale. So let's go through a couple, and let's get a little tactical here, Wayne, and let's go through a few and share with us what your approach is, or what we teach our coaching members an approach on overcoming objections. So let's do a realtor objection number one. And the realtor says, I already have a lender partner that I refer all of my business to. How do you overcome that objection?
Well, first, I show respect.
Yeah.
I understand relationships are important, and I respect the fact that you're loyal to your current lending partner. I do. And with my realtor partners that I work with, I have that same type of relationship. And I understand that, and I respect that. And I'm not coming in here trying to tell you to dump relationships. I'm not that guy. But help me understand that relationship. What has taken you to the point where you have that strong relationship with that individual?
Mm-hmm.
And what is it that makes their relationship with you so strong? How do they help you support your business?
Mm-hmm.
And how do they help you grow the connectivity and the
Mm-hmm.
customer experience?
Mm-hmm.
So I want to find out why they like that person.
Mm-hmm.
Is that person truly a partner, or is that person just a vendor? And what is it about the way they do business? And it's really funny, and I can lay this out. Years ago, a realtor said that exact thing to me. I said, you know what? And her name was, it doesn't matter. I'll remember it. It'll come to me in a minute. I said, I respect that relationship. I said, I'm not trying to break it. You've known her a long time. Is there anything that person could do better?
Mm-hmm.
She said, well, yeah, actually, sometimes she takes too long, to get me my loan approvals. I said, yeah, but that doesn't bother you. She goes, why do you say that? I said, because you still use her.
Mm-hmm.
I said, it never hurt you, never cost you any money. And then the light bulb went off, and she realized that she lost a big transaction because that person didn't act quickly enough. It gave me an opportunity to explore that relationship and what it is she likes and dislikes about that person. But it's hard to break a relationship, Faith.
Yeah. Yeah.
That makes sense.
I do, Wayne. And the thing is I think that's one of the myths, or one of the perceptions that I think that we need to pay attention to, is when we are calling on a top producing real estate agent who has a very, very robust business, closes 50, 100 units a year. 9 times out of 10, we are not going to win that relationship immediately. It's not going to happen overnight. But it's what I call elephant hunting, or what Todd Duncan used to call elephant hunting, right?
Right.
And but you also know that if we nurture that relationship and keep adding value to that relationship over time, we will win it. And if it's a relationship, but what's really most important is what you were saying earlier, Wayne, and that was doing the high trust interview and finding out whether or not this is an agent you really want to pursue, right?
And if I do want to pursue them, this is a marathon. I don't expect somebody's going to come in and take my relationships away overnight. But in a few years, I might retire. And if I do, that relationship might go a different direction. But I want to learn by asking questions of what they do with their current lending partner to deliver an amazing customer experience, because that question isn't asked. And the other person may never have asked that question about customer experience. And it's more important than anything.
It's what we call smoke screens, right? Oftentimes an agent will say that simply to make you go away.
That's right.
And I would say maybe 8 times out of 10, the loan officer does go away, or doesn't continue to pursue that relationship. If you're, obviously trained and coached at high trust with Todd Duncan coaching, those are that 20 percentile that is going to not go away. That's going to continue to add value to their business, so that when the time comes that they are looking for a new lender relationship, that they will be the first people that they call. So the opportunity comes.
I think the flaw is when somebody says that, we want to try and tell somebody why they should use us.
Mm-hmm.
People want to go into the selling, well, you might have a relationship, but I'm this and I'm that. And then it's about me, not about them.
Right.
I want to find out what it is about that relationship that they like.
Yes.
So I can learn how to navigate that moving forward.
So true, Wayne. I can't agree with you more. Absolutely. So the conversation actually, as Todd says, it's an opportunity to further the relationship and you got very tactical with that and said, and this is how you do it. You start asking questions.
That's right.
Start asking questions, that's acknowledge. And then, what is that, relationship? What is that relationship to you? Why are you so loyal? How did they serve you? And that type of thing, so that you can really start to, continue to build that relationship and deepen that relationship. So I absolutely agree with you. So let's do a second objection, which is a realtor objection. And that is, again, another smoke screen, but I have an in-house lender.
And I respect that. And I understand that your company would like you to use the in-house lender. How do they serve you? Are you happy with the way they provide the service to you? And why do you use them? Because truthfully, most in-house lenders are not that good. Mm-hmm. Now, what I've discovered, some are, but most aren't. Mm-hmm. And the in-house lender doesn't benefit the agent as much as it benefits the company. Mm-hmm. So my question is, what is it about that in-house agent that you like?
Sure.
And most times, they're not going to have an answer to that question. Well, I use them because I'm told to use them. And then I go into the question, okay, did they do a good job? Do you think they deliver a great customer experience? And I'll go back to Tony. You know who Tony, when I talk about Tony Markland.
Yeah.
Tony went back to his clients and his best agent and asked her, how they deliver the best experience. And this was 15 years into the relationship, and it got deeper and deeper. But the point is, most in-houses aren't for the realtor's benefit, they're for the house's benefit. Mm-hmm. But I want to help them understand that, for every client you serve well, you should get one referral every 3 years. Mm-hmm. Are you seeing that kind of return on investment? Uh-huh. And is your lending partner helping you build the relationship, which builds the referrals, which is much more valuable than the small piece they might get from the in-house lending marketing or comp or whatever they do inside the real estate firm. But the goal is to deliver the experience that brings them referrals and trusted relationships. Yes. Not to give it to the in-house lender just because the company wants them to.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does so much, Wayne. And I learned through managing a lot of MSAs that, if we were doing a tremendous job at managing an MSA, within a real estate firm, we were capturing maybe 25 or 35% of the overall business, and I think that's what a lot of people forget is that real estate agents, while they may work with a particular real estate firm, they're independent contractors, they're business owners. And so they're not sheep, by any means. And 9 times out of 10, they're not using the in-house lender. And right. They want to have their own team. So again, we don't want to, walk away from that conversation, but rather, as you're saying, start asking more questions. My favorite question when I hear that objection was, great, how's that working out for you?
Yeah.
That's
a great question.
And they'll always say, well, actually, it's really not, that type of thing. Yeah.
I mean, I love it when I get a client that calls an in-house and calls me at the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, they call an in-house lender, and within the first 2 minutes, they want to pull credit.
Yeah.
We talked a half an hour about strategies before we ever talked about credit. I won the deal because I'm not getting my business based upon the fact that I sit in a real estate office. Yeah. I'm getting my business because I deliver a great customer experience.
Right.
And when you sit in an office, unfortunately, because you're basically, the business is handed to you, you don't have the same focus on customer experience. At least that's been the experience I've seen for most in-house lenders. Mm-hmm. So you're right. How's it working out for you? How's it, how is the customer experience with the in-house lender working for you? How are they working with you to create the experience which gets you referrals?
Sure. Yeah.
Especially today, Hope, because with the way the business is heading toward national companies, discount realtors, national mortgage companies, if you don't build the relationships with the client and it's only a commodity, you're not going to be in business down the road.
Yeah, so true. So absolutely true. One of the things that I've been thinking a lot about lately is obviously, Todd just released a video, and it's on YouTube for anybody who's interested. But he's did a discussion and literally walked you through the concept of cash flow concept of mining and leveraging your database. And if you haven't heard it, I would not only listen to it, but I would also be bringing that to your entire team to have that conversation. And one of the things that he talked about with regard to that is that we are leaving money on the table. We're literally leaving money on the table by not contacting our database, by not staying in touch with them and not staying focused on that. So one of the things that it's just a consistent question, Wayne, that comes up with me is, are you asking for referrals, right? Are you asking for your referrals? So we've started a campaign within the coaching division of coming up with some scripting. So Wayne, what is your favorite ask for the referral script?
It's interesting. And I might have to be a little different, but I ask for referrals after I deliver an amazing customer experience.
Okay.
So in other words, my task is to do a great job with the mortgage.
Uh-huh.
Twice a year, I send out a newsletter, not a newsletter, but a letter.
Mm-hmm.
My letter is drafted now. It's going to go out to about 1,500 people.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't talk about mortgage, but at the end of the letter, it always says, and I want to thank everybody for the referrals of their friends and family that they've entrusted to me.
Uh-huh.
So I thank people for the referrals, but to ask for a referral is something that's earned by delivering a great experience. So I think the way Marty puts it is, if what can I do during the mortgage process to build your trust to where you can be comfortable referring your friends and family to me? And I think that's a good approach.
Yeah.
But go to closing, be there, deliver great experience. The letter I send twice a year, people call me and actually tell me, Wayne, I don't have any business for you, but I love your letter. But even more so, Faith, I had some fun with a realtor group the other day, and I said, how do you follow up on your prior customers? And the guy's getting married, his fiancée started laughing. Mm-hmm. She said, he stinks at it. Mm-hmm. I said, I'm going to give you 2 suggestions, just 2 simple suggestions. Mm-hmm. Call everybody on their birthday. Mm-hmm. Call everybody on their birthday. And I told a story that every year on my birthday, I get 400 Facebook wishes. Mm-hmm. But Dan Berger, that's his name, good friend, every year he calls me and wishes me happy birthday. Who do I remember? Dan Berger. So it's amazing that he does that. And then do an annual review with your clients to make sure with house prices and values. But the way to get referrals is to stay in touch with the people that have been kind enough to hire you to serve them. Mm-hmm. Let them know you care. And always thank them for referrals of their friends and family.
Exactly.
That's how I do it. I thank them for the opportunity to be of service to their friends and family, which is kind of a roundabout way of asking for referrals. Mm-hmm. That's how I like to do it, is by being humble and being thankful for the referrals that I do get, and then staying in touch with people so they don't forget me.
Right. So, you mentioned Marty Preston a minute ago, and, Marty's approach is, for those of you who don't know who Marty Preston is, he is one of our elite members, and his approach is from day one. My ultimate goal is to have you be a client for life. What would it take during this transaction for you to feel confident in referring me to your friends and families and colleagues? So he kind of starts to plants that seed from day one, and then, as you say, executes on creating a world-class experience for that client, so that ultimately that goal comes together.
If you don't deliver the world-class experience, you don't deserve the referral.
Right.
So, but letting people know you care, but most important, I think, staying in touch with them long term.
Yeah.
You close a loan, you move on. But if you stay in touch with them, what does Todd say? If you forget them, they'll forget you.
Exactly.
Don't forget them.
Yeah.
Treat them well. Treat them with respect. Do a great job. Yeah. And referrals will come.
Yeah. So exactly. Yeah. So for those of you that are listening or are listening later, if you're seeing your pipelines diminishing and your closings diminishing and that type of thing, the best thing for you to do is to engage in this approach with leveraging and mining your database. And so if you haven't listened to the video, Todd tells you exactly what to do, why to do it, and how to do it. So make sure you listen to the video. It's on YouTube. And for our coaching members, our coaches are coaching to it right now. So we're actually coming up with some very, very strategic approaches to actually maximize their business and mirror what they closed last year as well. So Wayne, we're coming to the end of our talk, and we actually have come to the end of our talk, but I'm going to throw you a little bit of a curveball and ask you a question and ask you to complete this sentence. When it comes to success, what I know for sure is
it's individual. Success is different things to different people.
Yes.
Some people, I realized a long time ago, Hope, that I'd never be the richest guy in town. So I got over that. Success to me is great interpersonal relationships.
Yes.
Success to me is God and family as my priorities.
Mm-hmm.
Success to me is time with the people I love,
Mm-hmm.
with enough money to be able to enjoy that time.
Yes.
But when you ask that question, success is highly individual.
Yes.
And so that question has 1,000 answers.
Yes.
But that's the point of the high trust interview, is that success
exactly.
means different things to different people.
Right.
And I think the most important thing about that question is everybody watching this is define for yourself.
Thank you.
What
Yes.
success means.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think that was going to be my call to action for the call, is that if you don't know what success means to you, between now and the end of the week, decide on what that means. What does success look like to you? And to really get definitive about that. And I'd love to see some of that, send me a post on, High Trust and Todd Duncan today, send me, something on LinkedIn. I'd love to know what success means to you. So please do that. So Wayne, we've come to the end of our conversation. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for everything that you bring as a Todd Duncan coach. We are so grateful to have you, and so grateful. I mean, I know you've had several of your coaching members on stage at Sales Mastery. I'm sure that you will continue to do so. And so thank you so much for being with us today.
I love serving, and this gives me a platform to serve, and I'm grateful for it.
Yes, thank you, Wayne. So thank you, everyone, for joining us. If you are not a coaching member, I highly encourage you and invite you to schedule a free coaching consultation with one of our coach consultants. Hear all things coaching, talk about your personal information. And good morning, Mr. Mike Lloyd. Mike Lloyd is one of our coaching members. Loved hearing from him today. And so have a great week, and thank you for joining us, everyone.
Take care. Happy birthday, Todd.